Welcome to Eric and her mom. So today I am going to be making a birthday cake that is for my birthday. So I got this book, Nigella, for my birthday, and it's how to eat the pleasures and principles of good food. So anyway, I like the idea of that. So inside this book, the first cake I found was called the birthday cake. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I thought, well, that's a good title for a birthday cake. So I decided to make a birthday cake from this book, which is going to be a chocolate birthday cake. So I've just gotten all these things put together, and this was a gift to me from my sister, Joy, and her family, and along with some other cookbooks. And I'm so excited because I love a good cookbook, and this one is really great. So I've got my things measured out here for my chocolate cake, and it's going to have a ganache topping, so I'm really excited about that. So the first thing we have here is all the dry ingredients, except for the sugar, which is a wet ingredient, so you know. Anyway, so this is 1 3/4 cups of flour, 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 1 cup of sugar goes into the wet ingredients of the cake, 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of butter, which I have unsalted butter, 2/3 cup of evaporated milk, and then we're going to put 3.5 ounces of milk chocolate, which I got the Ghirardelli, or Ghirardelli, however you say that, and then we have 2 eggs, which is right here. So it says to sift this, so I'm gonna sift it. I wanted to show you. So this is just a handle, and you pull it, and you can see this is a very old label. So this is a very old sifter. So we're just gonna sift and sift and sift this. But I wanted to show you, this was kind of a fun little sifter too. And you just squeeze it. And that one's a lot of fun. So if you have something small, you can throw it into that. I used to use one that did like this, and you probably did too, unless you're a lot younger than me. Anyway, so that's all sifted together. So that's good. Get the rest of that out. All right, put this away. All right, so we have all of our dry, and we're just gonna set that aside. Now for this one, I don't know if you can see it, I have a little water pot here on the side that is going to get some water boiling for us. So we have that. And then for the ganache, it's a cup of heavy cream. I use this one. And then 8 ounces of bittersweet chocolate and milk chocolate. So I'm going to use this bittersweet, which is 60% cocoa, and then I'm going to, half and half with the, oh gosh, what's it called? Milk chocolate. So I'm gonna mix those together. So I'm just waiting for that to boil. We're gonna put it into this, sorry, put a little flour there. Into this little pot. So into this pot we are going to put our sugar, which is 1 cup, 1 stick of butter, and that's Kerrygold unsalted, and I put a pinch of salt in there. I don't know if I said that or not, so there is salt in this batter. Okay, so that and then our evaporated milk. You can hear the pot. It's heating up. We'll open this real quick. And remember to shake this, because it does settle when it sits on your shelf or on the store shelf. And okay, so for this, 2/3 cups of evaporated milk. 2/3 cup. Where's my lines? Okay. All right, so we'll right there, almost. There Okay, so we can put this in here. Don't worry, it's all gonna melt together. It's gonna be great. All right, we'll put that over there. And let's see, we're gonna put these chips in here. Oh, we need to beat the eggs. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to apply this recipe. I'm trying to be really careful not to do any freelancing right now, but to really follow that recipe very well. So I'm gonna put the egg in after I mix it a little bit, so it's a little bit cooler. All right, so my water's boiling. I just wanna make sure I didn't miss anything. So put the sugar, the butter, the evaporated milk, half a cup of just boiled water, and the chocolate. Okay, let's let that cool a little second. All right, come on, cool down. All right, so back to our hot water. So we have our milk. Okay, so we're gonna put a half cup. See, it sounds like it's pretty cooled off right there. Because we want this hot, because we're going to be melting these little chocolates in here. So put that in, nice and hot. All right, and we're going to mix that around. I think I'll use my little spoon for this clumpy part. Just kind of mix that sugar. Okay, get that going. We're gonna put in our chocolates real quick. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but the butter was very soft, so it's mixing and melting. And now that we have the hot water cooled off again, now we're gonna put our eggs in. Then I'm gonna take it over to the stove, melt it, and let it mix, and then we'll be right back. Okay, well this is all mixed together, so we'll just put that to the side. We're gonna grab our bowl here. Now this has our 1 3/4 cups of flour, our cocoa, our, what is that? Baking powder. It has baking powder in it, and a pinch of salt. So we're just gonna make sure that's all together. Even though we did whisk it, we whisked it in the layers that it went in. So I'm just kind of putting it all together. So now, all right, so we're just gonna pour the chocolate, yummy, buttery, sugary contents in. Okay, just pour that in. All right, so we're gonna mix that. Looks like chocolate cake. All right, so I think this is gonna be yummy. The reason I wanted to have a homemade cake this year instead of a bakery cake, which they're always yummy and delicious, is just to have something simple, a simple old flavor. So that's what I'm looking for here. And wow, you should smell this. This smells so good. So the milk chocolate and the butter and the milk and the chocolate. Oh, it just smells so wonderful. All right, so now we're gonna put the egg in and let that get all mixed together. Nigella says amalgamated, which is so funny. It reminds me of the days in the dental office when we used silver fillings. They were called amalgams because you took all these different kinds of metals and mercury and mixed it together, and then it was an amalgam, or anything that is mixed together is an amalgam. So we're making an amalgam of different ingredients of this cake. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells so good. I wish you could smell the chocolatey goodness. That's what you miss when you don't bake your own cake. I'm not gonna taste it, but I can almost taste it because of the aroma. You miss all those goodies whenever you don't make it yourself. All right, so that's done. That was easy, huh? All right, so I have this is a spring-form pan. That means it has a spring. And when you flip it, the bottom will stay on the counter and this will come off. Bob is singing again. All right, so we're going, let me grab a spatula because I don't want to waste any of this yummy cake goodness. So we're gonna put this all in this springform pan. Now, what you can do with a springform pan, instead of using two, regular cake pans, you can use one. You can slice this in half because it's gonna be thicker and you could put a filling in between, or, which I think I'm gonna do, is just leave it like one big solid piece of cake because it's the cake I like. I like icing, but it's the cake. I'm just looking for some nice, yummy, warm, from the heart cake. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna pour that batter in. Oh, it's getting away from me. That always happens, I don't know. Some people can do this very well and just hold it up, but I'm not that strong. Okay, let's turn it back around. All right, we'll just pull it out here and we're going, okay, one more time. Just scrape that out. You never get to see this on the cooking channel, do you? My fingers are now covered with chocolate cake batter. Oh, but it's warm. Yummy. I want to eat you. Okay, so we're just gonna put this down and scrape it this way. Because look at that, yum, yum. Don't worry, my fingers are clean. Okay, so I just really wish I could share this with you guys because this is nothing better than homemade chocolate cake. Okay, let's get rid of that. Wash my hands a little. So this cake goes into a 350-degree oven for, I think it said 30-35 minutes. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop it in. While that's baking, we can make our ganache. And once the cake has cooled somewhat, we can just pour the ganache over it. And that's it, we're done. We're not going to pipe anything or, decorate it or make it fancy. We're just gonna make it good. So, all right, let me stick this in and we'll get started on our ganache. Okay, we've got that in the oven. We're gonna set the timer, but I wanna make sure. Pour into the springform pan and bake 35 to 45 minutes. Less if you're using shallower cake pans. So 35 to 45 minutes, so I'm gonna put it on 35. While that's counting down, we are going to get started on our ganache. Let the cake cool for 10 minutes, and then we'll take it out, we'll put it on a rack, because when you're pouring ganache, you want a larger plate under your cake because you're just gonna pour the very loose ganache over it and it's gonna drip. That way you can pick it all back up, but you don't have a big puddle on your cake plate. So we'll do that. Leave the cake to cool for 10 minutes and turn onto the rack. When completely cool, split the cake horizontally in half. And so if this spooks you, you should certainly use 2 pans. All right, so that doesn't spook me because I have a knife long enough to do that, but I just don't want to. I want a nice thick cake. All right, so here's how we make our ganache. This is so simple. Heat the cream, which is our heavy cream. Heat the cream to boiling, but do not let it overboil. And pour it over the chocolate. Leave for 5 minutes, and then by choice with an electric mixer, beat until combined, coolish, thickish, and glossy. You will want it thin enough to pour the cake, but thick enough to stay put. So when it's at its hottest, it's too thin. You want to just let that set for a little bit. it'll start to set up, and then you stir it, and it's still very, very pourable. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. But for right now, we're just gonna wait. So what you would do if you're gonna make it and you wanted some ganache in the middle, you would split your cake in half and turn the top of the cake over so that the top of the cake is on a different plate. And this cake, you would just pour the ganache over, then you're gonna put that cake back over, and then you will still have your nice top. So you wouldn't have all the crumbs there. The cake is cooking, and it has about 28 minutes left to go before I check it to see if it's ready. While that's cooking, and before we get started on the ganache, I wanted to share this with you. This dear, sweet lady who went to school, graduated high school with my husband, sent me a birthday card, and I just think that is so sweet, and what a kind person. But I want to read this verse to you. It's from Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." And I just want to encourage you today, because that is so true. The Lord has done that for me, and I'm just overwhelmed and in awe of such a wonderful, wonderful God. But I am so blessed by her to have sent me this card, and there's a magazine subscription there inside offer if I choose to participate in that. But it says, "Let the promises of this day gather into beautiful blessings that make your heart sing," which is so funny. She doesn't know this, but that's one of the things that I used to say a lot. Oh, that makes my heart sing. That makes me so happy. And I still say things that, well, that just hurts my heart, or that just makes my heart sing. And I just want to tell you, you made my heart sing when I received this card. So thank you and your husband so very much. It was such a blessing. And I love the card. We watch birds every day. You just don't know how many ways this sews into the fabric of our lives. So thank you very much. You're a sweetheart. All right, so now to the ganache. So what we will do with this, we'll get back to the stove with this. We heat up 1 cup of heavy cream. This is so wonderfully easy, I love it. So 1 cup of heavy cream, and then we're going to put 4 ounces of chocolate. So whatever kind of chocolate you prefer. So I have the Ghirardelli chocolates here, and this is like, I think 3.5, 4 ounces, something like that. But we need 8 ounces. And how wonderful. I'm just gonna break these up. I am going to add milk chocolate to this, and this is an option with your ganache. You can have just a really dark, bitter ganache if you want, but make sure that the chocolate you're using does have some sugar in it, because we eat just baker's chocolate straight with no sugar in it. It might be a little hardcore for some people, but I happen to know my sister, my older sister, doesn't like bitter chocolate. So I'm putting more than half milk chocolate in just for her. So, and I don't mind it. I don't mind milk chocolate at all. So now we have, which comes like this. So we have, whoops, come back here. We have those, we have this much chocolate all mixed together. Now we could, the recipe says you can put these in a food processor and grind it up, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna be patient and let it melt because I have plenty of time. So let me get this to the point of boiling without burning, and then we'll pour it over this, and then we'll let this just kind of set, even though we're not gonna be using it for a while. And then we can stir it up when we need to make it All right, hold on. Okay, well, we got this to a boil. So we're just gonna pour it over our little chocolate chippies here. And then we're gonna let that just sit there, just like that. Poke everybody under the cream. All right, so we're just gonna let that set to soften, and then we'll mix it up and that'll be ready. That's the easiest icing I think I've ever made. I've even made other ganaches that were more complicated, but this is supposed to be an easy recipe so that, you know, it's just kind of a go-to chocolate cake recipe. So I'm so excited about that. The cream is already turning a little brown, so that's pretty neat to see. Oh yeah, that looks great. So we're just gonna give that a few more minutes and it will get incorporated. So I want to tell you about the first birthday cake I made myself. I think I was 12 or 13, and I decided I wanted a strawberry cake with chocolate icing. So while at the store, my mother allowed me to get a box cake. It was strawberry box cake and icing, and I didn't want any help. So I made it according to the directions and everything, but I didn't know anything really about pans and what to pick. So I picked a roasting pan because I wanted a big cake, which didn't take into consideration the amount of cake mix I had. But anyway, I got the roasting pan that kind of comes with your oven, cut that out, took the roasting or the pan lid off, the I don't know what you call that. It has the holes in it. Anyway, I took that off and I made it in this pan. So it was, you know, it was a pretty big cake, but it was so good. It was so good. So that was, and I remember that my mother, that was my first birthday cake, but before that, when I was quite young, my mother would let me make box cakes, and I would make them and my brothers would eat them, and they would just be the plain cake, no icing, but they didn't mind. I didn't mind. I love just like a warm, yummy cake, so good. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping for this. Maybe a little nostalgia to remind me of what cakes used to be, you know. I was talking to one of my sisters today, and she was saying, we were remembering and reminiscing about, you know, cakes just in a sheet pan, like piece of cake that you had to kind of scoop out, and just a thin layer of icing on it, and how good that was. And so everything's gotten so fancy. So we just want to, you know, let's go back to some basic cooking roots here. Now, this is a pretty basic recipe. I think anybody could make this. It's just very simple. I'm afraid of chocolate cakes, and I'll admit that. I'm afraid of using different types of chocolates and different, you know, the powder and the bars and everything, you know, it's just something I don't know that much about. So, but I do it, I make them. German chocolate cake, you know, I make a ganache that goes over the German chocolate cake over that coconut nut filling. So it's kind of the same thing. That's a hard cake because it's a chiffon cake, and you have to beat egg whites until they're stiff and then blend them into the batter and then bake that. And yeah, that's kind of a more of a challenge than this one. This one is just basically waiting, you know, waiting for the cake to cook, waiting for, okay, so now I can really blend this, waiting for this to melt. So this is looking really good, glistening and beautiful. I think that's what I like most about ganache. It just glistens and it's shiny and it's beautiful. So, all right, done. Ta-da. Anyway, I don't want to splash that on myself. All right, so we're going to give this a chance to just set. We have about 10 minutes on the cake. cake is smelling really good. And then we'll take it out. And like I say, it'll only be like that for you. All right, so our cake is ready. And you can see it's right in there. It took 35 minutes. And the top is warm and perfect. It's just perfect. It smells just perfect. So we're going to give that a chance to rest. It's going to cool down, and then we'll put it on a wire rack. We'll add our ganache, and then we'll put that on a cake plate that we can cover so that it'll be good until tomorrow. But I just want to say happy birthday to me, and I can't wait until tomorrow, and I get to share it with my family and friends, and we are just going to have a wonderful time. And most of all, what a blessing to have a birthday. I just can't tell you. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have been here one more year, to get to be with family, and I'm looking forward to many, many more as the Lord wills. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, and I hope you say a blessing for me for my birthday. And subscribe. Hey, that's a good gift. Subscribe and share and like and leave a happy birthday comment, because that helps us grow our channel. But anyway, so to my future generations, Pika loves you, and yeah, I hope I get to see you in the future. I hope I hang around long enough to meet you guys. So anyway, have a wonderful evening. We're enjoying the fall, and yeah, it's November 4th. So November 5th, I will be celebrating my birthday. Bye, everybody.